I stopped using my married name after my husband's comment. We'd been married for 3 years. I took his last name without hesitation because I loved him and wanted us to feel like a unit. His last name was Porter. Mine was Morales. I gave up Morales for Porter and never looked back. Until last Tuesday. We were at his company's annual dinner, black tie event. I'd spent 2 hours getting ready because I wanted to make a good impression on his new boss. When we walked in, Caleb introduced me to everyone at our table. This is my wife, Lucia Porter. I smiled and shook hands. Normal stuff. Then his coworker Brian leaned over and asked how we met. I started telling the story about the coffee shop mix-up when Caleb interrupted me. She was a Morales back then. He laughed. Major upgrade, right? I froze. Brian laughed nervously. Caleb kept going. I mean, can you imagine introducing your wife as Lucia Morales? He shook his head. Porter just sounds more professional, more American. The table went quiet. I excused myself to the bathroom and sat in a stall for 15 minutes trying not to cry. My grandmother was a Morales. My mother was a Morales. 4 generations of strong women carried that name before I gave it up, and my husband just called it a downgrade. When I came back to the table, I acted normal, smiled, laughed at his jokes, but something inside me had shifted permanently. The next morning, I called my bank. I'd like to change the name on my account. The woman asked for my new name, Lucia Morales. She paused. Reverting to a maiden name? Yes. I spent the entire week changing everything back. Driver's license, credit cards, work email, social media. Every single document that said Porter was updated to say Morales. Caleb didn't notice for 6 days. On day 7, a piece of mail arrived addressed to Lucia Morales. He picked it up and stared at it. What's this? My mail. Why does it say Morales? Because that's my name. He looked at me like I'd lost my mind. Your name is Porter. You're my wife. I'm your wife, but my name is Morales. He started laughing. Is this about what I said at the dinner? Babe, I was joking. Were you? He stopped laughing. I pulled out my phone and showed him something I'd found the night of the dinner. A text thread between him and his mother from 3 years ago, right after we got engaged. His message read, "At least she's taking my name. Can you imagine being Caleb Morales? Sounds like I work at a car wash." His mother's response, "Thank God. Porter is much better. She'll fit in more with a proper name." Caleb went pale. "You went through my phone? You left it open on our nightstand. I saw it the night you proposed. I just convinced myself it didn't mean what it obviously meant." He tried to explain. "My mom is old-fashioned. I was just agreeing with her to keep the peace. You called my family name something that sounds like a car wash worker? I didn't mean it like that." "Then how did you mean it?" He couldn't answer. The silence between us lasted 3 days. He kept trying to apologize, but every apology made it worse. "I'm sorry you're upset wasn't an apology. I'm sorry you took it the wrong way wasn't an apology. I'm sorry my mom is ignorant wasn't an apology." On day 4, his mother called me directly. "Caleb told me about your little tantrum." She said it like I was a child. "You're being ridiculous. Porter is a perfectly good name. You should be grateful." "Grateful? That my son married you despite your background." I hung up on her. That night, I sat Caleb down. "Your mother just told me I should be grateful you married me despite my background. Did you know she felt that way?" He looked at the floor. "Caleb, did you know? She's always been like that. I thought if you took our name, she'd accept you more. So you knew she looked down on me. And instead of defending me, you helped her erase my identity." "I'm not erasing anything. You literally said my name was an upgrade. Like I was defective before." He had nothing to say. I moved into the guest room that night. 2 weeks later, I filed for divorce. His mother called me 37 times. I blocked her after the 3rd voicemail where she called me an ungrateful immigrant. I was born in Ohio. Caleb showed up at my office begging me to reconsider. He said I was throwing away our marriage over a name. I looked at him and said the truest thing I'd ever spoken. "I'm not throwing away our marriage over a name. I'm leaving because you were ashamed of where I came from and spent 3 years hoping I wouldn't notice." The divorce finalized 2 months ago. I kept Morales, and I've never been prouder to write it.